Welcome to the Craft of Coaching podcast, where we dive into what it truly takes to become a skilled, confident life coach. I'm your host, Kate, head of the CLCC, or Certified Life Coach Collective, an ICF-Accredited Level 1 coach training program. We combine courage, coaching, and community to offer you more than just a training program, but a life-changing experience where you use your own personal transformation as the learning ground for supporting your clients. On this podcast, we explore how you can use coaching skills to support your clients or expand your own growth, all grounded in evidence-based coaching practices. Learn more about our program and get free resources for becoming a life coach at teamclcc.com. And now, here's today's episode. Oh, hey there. I'm thrilled to be coming with today's episode to talk about a topic that I want to approach with an incredible degree of empathy and sensitivity. And that topic is the biggest mistakes coaches are making when they become coaches. So let's dive into that a little bit. And I am saying that I want to approach it with a great degree of sensitivity and empathy because I don't know about you, but are you with me on this, where you see these articles online, like the top mistakes people are making, but it's set up to try to get you stressed out, usually so you'll buy something. You know, like, I want to tell you about all the mistakes you're making, and then, oh, here's my product or service or whatever that's going to like solve everything for you. So it's definitely not coming from that place. And then the other thing that I see sometimes online that I'm just, yuck, is when the top mistakes lists are posed in such a way as if, oh my God, you're like so stupid. How could you not know? This kind of like condescending thing. I'm not into that. So in talking about the biggest mistakes that I see coaches making when they become coaches, I want to be really clear that I'm talking about it from a place of, I want to help. I've got extensive experience in the industry. I myself have been a life coach since 2006, which means my joke is always that I'm a life coaching dinosaur. Like, I've been a coach about as long as iPhones have existed. Put another way, I've been a coach like since before Facebook was super popular. All right, that's how long I've been a coach. So I've seen a lot of things happen. I've seen a lot of different things. I've made a lot of mistakes. So for any of these biggest mistakes that I talk about in today's episode, please know I'm going to be speaking about not just things that I see others doing that I think are a mistake, but also things I've done. And at this point, I've worked with hundreds of coaches from all around the world, from very different backgrounds, who wanted to set up different coaching businesses, wanted to be different types of coaches, different niches of coaches, work with clients in different ways. You know, this is all from my experience as the director of the Courageous Living Coach Certification. We're an international coaching federation, ICF-Accredited training program too. So I've also seen through the lens of people going through the entire process of getting trained and then also getting certified. And so there's a lot of different things that I've seen. And so let's get into talking about those biggest mistakes, because if you hear them, and if you are gentle with your heart as you hear them, instead of putting yourself down when you hear them, which of course is an opportunity for us as coaches to do our own work, the work that we would often invite clients to do. If you hear these mistakes and you hold them gently and you go, where do I do this? There's an opportunity in all of these to course correct. It's only a mistake if you don't learn from it. That's the way I like to look at it. So let's go with this. Okay. So I'm going to talk about not just things that are related to being a coach, but things that are related to the business of coaching, because I think that they can sometimes get a little chicken and egg with one another. So first mistake that I see coaches make, and this is where it gets chicken and egg, is the ubiquitous, if you build it, they will come. Going to coaching school or a coach training program, and you're completely in love with coaching. You're like, this is it for me. I'm going to become a coach. This is what I'm going to do. And then you quit your job. And then now you've thrown a bunch of money stress on top of the day-to-day, how do I build a business? Oh, I'm kind of new to coaching. This client comes in and they present with something that's outside of what I've ever experienced before. I'm not sure what to do about it. Oy, right? And I got to tell you, I jumped the gun on that. I did that as well. I had this attitude when I first became a coach back in 2006. It was like, well, I've found the thing that I love to do. I'm absolutely sure about it. I saved up a couple months worth of income. I'm like, that's all it's going to take. I got my website up. I should be good, right? I've got some clients, and I'm willing to work hard. That was the other thing, is that, I was absolutely willing to put the work in. So I was like, well, hard work reaps results, right? Well, not always with growing a business. If you're studying for a test and you know what your teacher is expecting of you, so you can study the notes and you can study the lessons and then hit the final exam and ace that test, yeah. But entrepreneurship is not a test in that same way. It's a test of a lot of things, but it's not a test in that same way. So you can be a really hard worker and build something, and people might not necessarily come right away, which leads me to my next piece, which is not building enough of a runway. So I've been using this metaphor that I originally heard from Scott Belsky, Belsky. He was being interviewed and he was talking about startup culture and things like that. And he said that people needed to build themselves more of a runway. And I kept thinking about that concept because literally the physics of getting a plane up into the air require two things. One is speed or velocity, and two is enough of a runway. Like you actually have to take a plane up a certain amount of length in the distance in order to, with the right amount of velocity, to catch air and then take flight. Well, what I see happening is that a lot of people don't give themselves enough of a runway. Again, it goes back to that they're passionate about coaching, and I love that. I mean, I got to tell you, and I certainly don't ever want to dampen anyone's dreams about how fast it will happen. There are people, and I've seen it happen within CLCC, where they finish the program and they're going, I've already got 3 clients. And that's a pretty amazing thing. So it's not that it never happens. It's just that more commonly, you're not going from 0 to 3 clients or 0 to 9 clients. And again, I've seen it happen. But more commonly, you're going 1 client at a time. You get 1 client and it's great. And then you get 2. And then you get 3. Then 1 client terminates, not because you're bad, but because they just reach the finality of the work together. And so now you're back to 2. And then you're going, oh, okay, just a matter of time before I get 3. And it's like, you can't force people to sign on with you. So you need to give yourself enough of a runway. Velocity is how hard you're working, and the runway is time. So a lot of coaches don't give themselves enough of a runway, and they think that they're going to replace their salaried income within only a matter of months. I'm a wholehearted believer in coaches replacing their salaries. Again, I've seen it. I've seen so many great things with the hundreds of people that we've worked with for CLCC. I just don't typically see it within only a couple of months for most people. So it doesn't mean it's not possible. It's about, hey, let's aim for, if it happens right away, I love that. But let's go ahead and come into this playing for the long game. So it becomes a mistake to only be short-sighted enough to go, oh, I'm going to have this all buttoned up within just a couple weeks or a month or, whatever it might be. This, by the way, would lead into another mistake that I think most coaches make, which is paying for really expensive, high-priced marketing programs. Because, I got a soapbox on this for a moment. It actually drives me a little bit nuts to see marketing programs that are thousands and thousands of dollars being marketed to people who are clearly brand new to being in business for themselves. Because for sure, once you are not brand new in business for yourself, you know a lot more about who your ideal client is. You know a lot. It's easier for you to speak to the problems people face and the solutions that coaching can provide. You've got a website up that you feel good about. You might have even tweaked it a couple times. You've got a sales funnel. At that point, investing a good amount of money to get better conversions is an awesome thing to do. But when you're first starting out, there's enough stress about trying to get clients without then spending $5,000 or $10,000 on a marketing program. And the unfortunate thing is that marketing people happen to be very good at marketing, and that is exactly where they get a lot of people. So they get a lot of beginner coaches, and they speak to exactly the things that those beginner coaches are struggling with. Do you feel like you're having trouble getting clients? Do you wish that you had a simple system to book yourself with clients easily and effortlessly and all this other stuff? And the thing is, there is no simple system. I mean, there might be a simple system, but not one that's going to get you guarantees. So that would be another mistake that I do see coaches making early on. They think that the reason they don't have clients is because they just don't have the right marketing system. And if they go invest thousands of dollars in somebody's system, boom, they're going to have all these clients. No, what you're going to have more than likely is several $1,000s less in your bank account, on top of the stress of how do I find clients, because it just takes time. My recommendation for people who are going, but I am struggling with marketing, what do I do? My answer would be invest in lower cost, shorter term courses that are aimed at helping beginners. So find a Pinterest course. If you love to spend time on Pinterest and you're thinking to yourself, wow, wouldn't it be great if I could figure out how to market myself and spend time on Pinterest all day? Then go take Melissa Griffin's Pinterest courses. Okay? If you know that you love the game of Facebook ads, if all those algorithms and data appeal to you and you're like, you know what, it'd be pretty cool if I could leverage $100 a month Facebook ads budget into better results with my marketing, go purchase from Claire Pelletreau, Claire Pells, PELLS.com. There are several lower cost marketing offerings that she offers. So don't go all in with thousands and thousands of dollars as a beginner for some big marketing program. Just keep it simple, sign up for newsletters, vet your people, and don't put yourself in more debt, because there is no way you're going to hack your way to a faster result. It just doesn't happen. It's not common. It's often more luck when you see those testimonials than it is anything else. All right. Let's talk about a couple other things that are mistakes that I see coaches make. And speaking of marketing, not being consistent about marketing, particularly not being consistent about marketing and thinking that if you aren't getting clients, it must mean you're a bad coach. I'm going to say that one more time because this is so pervasive. I see coaches who are not consistent about marketing. And then later you talk to them, you're not coaching anymore? No, it was really hard and I wasn't getting clients. And to be honest, I just wondered if coaching was even for me anymore. Or maybe it just wasn't my thing. Or, sometimes I just felt like I wasn't even a very good coach. I was just like, hold on, wait, what? And, I've talked to some of these coaches and we peel back a couple layers. And what it turns out is that they literally were equating clients with how good they were. That was the root of it. And you can always tell whether or not it really is coaching for you or not by this one simple question. If I had a crystal ball and could guarantee that with enough time and work, you would for sure have the clients you want to have, would you continue to work at your coaching business? Oh, yeah, of course. Well, if the answer is, oh, yeah, of course, that if you had a crystal ball and you knew that eventually you would make it, then yeah, coaching is totally meant for you. And the piece you need to fill in is marketing. So now I'm going to get to the consistency thing because it's another piece with mistakes coaches make. But I was consistent with marketing. And then you peel back the layers a little bit more. the person was consistent with marketing for 3 to 6 months. 3 to 6 months? No, it's just not enough time. It's not enough of a runway. So if you are finding yourself, if you're nodding your head and you're going, oh yeah, this is the place where I am right now. I really feel kind of tired of marketing and I'm not getting as many clients as I want to be getting. And that has me wondering whether or not coaching is really a sustainable option for me, one that I really can continue with. Well, I would invite you to really go, okay, don't put so much pressure on coaching to deliver for you yet. You're developing a skill set as a coach. You're developing a skill set as a business owner. You're developing your resilience, your ability to tolerate uncertainty. This is a different thing than going in for a salaried job where somebody else delegates to you and somebody, payroll handles your W-2. This is a different thing than that. There is more uncertainty, but the payoffs are really, really nice. But yeah, it's like an investment and you will have to put in a little bit of money over time. And just like compound interest, it pays off over time. Now, again, I know that when you are a beginner coach or a new or emerging coach, and you're going, how is this ever going to work? You can't see the forest for the trees. And it really, those voices of fear get really loud. And I get that. I'm about to talk about that in a minute. But there's an actual reality to building any business. And, a couple people had told me this back when I first started. They'd said, it takes around 2 years to really get consistent income coming in and consistently knowing what you're doing and what your operations are and all of that. And I remember at the time thinking, 2 years? How am I going to wait 2 years? Well, again, you got to go back to, but don't you want the rewards of that? Don't you want to not go into the soul-sucking job? Don't you want to not be ruled by your alarm clock in the morning? Don't you want to not have to commute? Right? Don't you want to not deal with a boss who is tyrannical? Don't, this is a big vision thing. Do you want to look back in 2 years and go, so glad I put in the time? Or do you want to look back in 2 years and go, oh, I could have put in the time and then I didn't? So the consistency piece is really important. And yeah, 2 years is what people told me. Well, after I'd been doing the coaching thing for 2 years and I started to see, miracle of all miracles, I started to really see what they were talking about, how it was just not so hard to get clients anymore. I had more of a sense of what I was doing. I was more resilient. The uncertainty didn't faze me. Well, I decided to run a survey. And so I did this survey and I asked coaches in the survey specifically questions about how many hours per week they were putting into marketing. And there was another question that I had asked about how long they'd been a coach. And I was just asking the how long have you been a coach question purely for demographics, just kind of like, da-da-da. What I was really looking at, my hypothesis going into the survey would have been the more hours you put into marketing, I'm guessing the more clients you have. That's really what I was testing the survey for. I wanted to get a sense of, is it the people who are putting in 4 hours a week or 10 hours a week or 20 hours a week into marketing who are getting more clients? Well, guess what the survey revealed? It actually did not matter how many hours a week people were putting in. And I don't mean it didn't matter as in if somebody was putting in 0 hours, they were getting clients or da-da-da. No, if you're not putting in any effort, it matters. But I'm talking about the people who did 4 hours, 10 hours, or 20 hours. That was not the differentiating factor. What was the differentiating factor? How long they had been a coach. There's just something that happens the longer you have been in your profession. People get to know who you are, what you're about. You get more client referrals. You get a better sense of what you're doing. You start to develop habits and routines around how you want to market that become easier to implement all the time. The first time that I ever recorded a podcast episode, it took me 2 hours to record one episode. Now it takes me 45 minutes, That's, a lot less time. I can get a lot more done. To create a graphic in Canva, or to set up a Facebook ad, or to figure out how to pitch someone to be on their podcast. All these things that go into running your business, whichever of these marketing outlets you decide to focus on. At first, they feel big and they feel overwhelming, and it takes a lot of time, and it feels like, God, I feel like I spent all day on my website, and what do I have to show for it? I still don't feel happy with my website. I get it. That's temporary. You will figure it out. You will figure it out. So you've got to be consistent, and you've got to play the long game. You cannot expect to replace your salaried income within a year. If that happens for you, it does happen for people. I will applaud you left and right if it happens for you. If it does happen for you, great. Just don't hinge your entire life and your coaching career on that happening. And now I'll get into the fear, because that is a huge area where coaches make mistakes. And I'm, the poster child for that one too. I'm raising my hand. I'm right beside you. I am not sitting over here in guru mode going, oh, I'm so better. I've got it all figured out. I just never even did. No, I did it too. So, mistake related to fear, thinking you'll never have a bad day. Okay. So thinking you'll never have a bad day. When I first became a coach, and again, I see this with a lot of other coaches, it's like, oh my gosh, this work lights me up. It's so awesome. I love my clients. I can't wait. I would do this all day if I could. Frankly, if somebody else paid all my bills some other way, I would just do this for free. It feels amazing. I want to do more of it, all of that. So then you have your first bad day or bad week or bad month. And by bad, what I mean is all kinds of different things. Maybe there's something disappointing that happens. Like maybe you do 5 introductory sessions and all 5 of those clients are like, yeah, I'm going to sign on. And then they don't. And your confidence is kind of shaken. Like, whoa, I did these intro sessions. They all said they were going to sign on and then they didn't. What does this mean about me? Maybe you'll have a bad day, week, or month because the coaching itself just feels like it's falling flat. Maybe it's related to the types of clients you're taking on. Maybe it's related to something going on in your personal life, but the coaching just feels like it isn't as much fun anymore. Maybe it's overwhelm around the admin stuff or the marketing stuff. Admin is like billing and getting your contracts out and making sure they get signed before somebody returns them to you, getting pre-session questions out to people. Maybe that admin stuff feels really overwhelming. Or maybe the marketing, and you just start to feel like, God, I'm spending so much time on marketing. Where's the actual room for coaching? So you're going to have bad days or bad weeks or bad months. That seems impossible when you're having so much fun in your coach school. When you're in your coach training program, that seems impossible, but it will happen. And so this is where we get into the fear. Fear will tell you that this must mean that you made a terrible mistake ever going to coach training or becoming a coach or thinking you could do this. And then it spirals. I'm here to tell you right now, you have just figured out where your work is. You have just figured, if you are having that experience that I just described, you have just figured out where your work is. And that's good news. That's good news. It's good news to find out where your work is so that instead of doing what I'm sure we've all seen people do or have done ourselves, where, the person who like 1 year, they're a yoga instructor. The next year, they're a massage therapist. A year later, they're adding on aromatherapy. Then they decide they want to become a coach. Then maybe they're going to go ahead and work a salaried job somewhere. And then, maybe they'll do the ping-ponging around to different careers and then going, well, but this one didn't feel quite right. Well, but this one didn't feel quite right. Examine that. You've just hit your work. And it's good work to do. And in so many cases, the work we're doing with our careers is understanding mature love. You didn't think I was going to go there with that, did you? It's mature love. I have been with the same person for 15 years. And I love my husband more than I can say. And then there are things he does that drive me freaking crazy, and vice versa. He'd be like, if he were here in my office with me right now watching me do this podcast, he would totally give me a look like, oh, and you think there's nothing you do that drives me crazy? Oh, yeah. So the mature love is understanding that the bumps are part of the journey. The mature love is when the bumps arise, you say, what is this here to teach me? What am I discovering about myself and or the environment that I'm in? Where do I unhook from my own values? Where is there an opportunity for me to realign with my values? And I feel incredibly fortunate to be in a relationship that I never take for granted, that I always assume that work at some level will need to be done, of us asking ourselves, hey, we're button heads, button up against this challenge. What's this here for? I feel so grateful because what I know now after 15 years is that on the other side of that, there's always something good. And when you love something from a mature place, you grow, you learn, and you stop expecting that everything is supposed to come out of the box perfect for you. And that really is a resilience skill. You stop needing every aspect of everything to be a full-on passionate hell yes 24/7 at all times. There are times when the work you do as a coach will feel kind of like, rah, rah. But if you let that overshadow all the other good stuff that's there and throw the whole thing away because of the pieces that you don't like, I believe you'll take yourself with you wherever you go, and that you'll just go repeat that pattern somewhere else. So you might as well take a hard look and really use the circumstances you're holding right now to find out what's up for you. That has me go into another place where I think coaches make mistakes, and that is not doing personal work. It's a huge reason why in the Courageous Living Coach certification, we make the program experiential. We do not teach coach training, or we do not teach coaching skills by saying to the people in our program, so here's the thing, Module 1, coaching and listening. Okay, here's how you know that you're coaching and listening. Here are the metrics. Let's go over them. And now let's give you a quiz later. Do you know what the metrics are? Oh, great, you passed the quiz. We ask questions like, where do you not listen to yourself? Who are you really? Where do you get stuck? We don't do this thing as like, these are the signs of client resistance. Sign 1, sign 2, sign 3, sign 4, sign 5. And then, okay, let's have you listen to a sample audio of a coaching client and you tell us which of the signs of resistance is this client exhibiting. We actually want to know from you, where do you get resistant? Where do you hit up against your limits? What fear pattern do you go into? And the reason we put that at the center of what we do is because we actually want everybody to graduate from our program with some skill set around self-awareness and the ability to coach themselves, to say, who am I in all of this life? Not just as a coach, a professional coach who works with clients, but who am I in life? What is my life really about? What is my way of being? Who do I want to be and how do I want to grow? And then that leads me to the last thing I'll speak about with the biggest mistakes I've seen coaches make, and that I, of course, have made too, which is letting the bad days or the fear define them. It is a supreme act of sovereignty over your life the day that you decide that when you feel afraid and when those voices of fear kick up, you are not going to automatically believe them. You listen to them, you don't automatically believe that they are telling the truth, that it will define you. When a client abruptly cancels working with you. And the fear comes up, oh my God, they abruptly canceled working with me. It must mean something about me. What am I going to do about money? I need to find another client now. I feel so embarrassed. Did I do something wrong? You can go down that road, okay? You can let any of those possibilities that your mind might search for, your fear might search for, be the thing that you latch on to and make into a truth. But the real truth is that even if all those things were true, like even if the client stopped working with you because they thought you had made some terrible mistake, that doesn't have to define you. You might not be the right coach for them, but you're a great coach for somebody else. So don't make the mistake of letting bad days or what your fear says define what is going to be possible for you in the future. I really do believe that in the coaching industry, and I think that I have the track record and the longevity and the experience to be able to say this, I really do believe it comes down to, do you want it or not? Do you want it or not? It's that simple. Because I have seen coaches who started their coaching business and had several deaths in the family, and then, bad things happened. They're really struggling for a long time, and they totally end up deciding to use that as their fuel, reframe how they're going to learn from that, bounce back from that, process through that, and then they go on to become coaches. And then I've seen coaches who have the most ideal circumstances. Maybe they have a job that has always let them work remotely and pays them very handsomely, and they have plenty of money and plenty of time and a lot of ideas, and then they give up on it. They have a bad day, week, month, and they go, I'm going with the story, not consciously, but they go with the story of, I must suck. I must not be cut out for this. So it's really about, do you want this? Because if you want this, time is on your side. All bets are on your side. More coaches who stick with this succeed than fail. I started the Coaching Blueprint, which is a digital marketing program for life coaches, for new and emerging coaches, back in 2010. When I started the Coaching Blueprint, I interviewed many life coaches for that program as bonus material. The majority of those coaches are all still coaching. In fact, the majority of those coaches at the time that I interviewed them were not making amazing money. They were making good money, but not amazing money. And they're now all 6- and 7-figure earners. So, the money is there. The coaching industry is growing. It is only becoming bigger and more accepted with time. So if you sit down with your fear and work with it, and you put on a piece of paper, what are the fears that I have that are outside of my control? What are the fears that I have that are inside my control? The fears that are outside of your control, those you can just let go of, because they're not in your control anyway. The fears that are inside your control, like, what if I'm not a very good coach? Well, if you really think that that is a legitimate concern, if you really believe that it's possible that you're just not a very good coach, well, you can record a couple client sessions with permission, share them with a coaching peer, ask for some feedback. The ICF core competencies are right on their website. You could evaluate it yourself. You could go, am I doing this? You could ask clients for feedback. Look at the things that you really think might be going on here and ask yourself realistically, honestly, is this something that is a fear that I have any control over? And if it is, what can I do about it? Is it a fear that you aren't very good at marketing and thus won't make money? Well, what can you learn about that? I'm sitting here now. I totally thought that anything having to do with marketing when I first started was like used car salesperson, slickstery stuff. And now I just understand that marketing is really basically just people have needs and things that they want. And so how can I talk about what it is that I do in such a way that allows the person who has the need to self-select? I don't want to manipulate anybody into anything. You have this need for XYZ in your life, places where you're stuck. I am a coach who provides XYZ to help people get unstuck with that problem. Let me give you the information about that, and then you can decide whether or not it's a fit for us to work together. How much do you want it? And if you want it, then what do you want to build? And if you want to build something, where do you want to be? And what do you want to look back on later? You're never too old. You're never too young. It's never too late to start. It's only a matter of what in this moment here, right now, do you want to create? All right, that's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening. Before you go, would you help us out and take a moment to give us a rating in iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you're listening? It really helps us get the word out to other listeners. And before you go today, would you like free resources to support your coaching journey? Whether you're considering becoming a coach or you want advanced coach skills training, access our coaching resource library at teamclcc.com. Again, that's teamclcc.com. Can't wait to connect with you. And again, thanks for listening.